So the Omaha and Raleigh Sweetener World Tour shows were canceled, and I'm just a little bit disappointed. So I just wanted to start off by saying that this in no way is a form of hate towards Ariana Grande. I know that a lot of the decisions that are made actually come from the team and not the artists themselves. That's usually how it goes. So I just wanted to kind of do a quick analysis of everything that has happened since the announcement of the Sweetener World Tour and some of the things that I've noticed that have been just a little off with it. So I think all of this starts back in August 21st. This is when Ariana Grande had first mentioned the merch pre-sale. This meant that if you bought a Sweetener tour pass, the merch or the album, that you would get access to early ticket sales. So the Sweetener tour pass is only $10, and with it says Sweetener pass includes priority venue entry to a 2019 Ariana Grande headline tour and future discounts. Please note the Sweetener pass does not include a ticket to the 2019 Ariana Grande headline tour. You must have a purchase ticket to a headline arena show in order to use your access pass for priority venue entry. Not valid unless accompanied by a ticket. It's important to keep in mind that, again, this is back in August. This is before any of the dates for the Sweetener World Tour was announced. So that meant that by buying the merch or the album or this pass, yes, you were guaranteed early ticket access to that pre-sale, but you didn't know if she was coming to a venue near you. So you could have bought these items and still not have gotten to see Ariana Grande perform on this tour. So that was a little questionable. I understand, yes, you get what you paid for, you get the pass as memorabilia, but also it's very much intended to be used at the show. The merch is cool to have, the album is cool to have, that I can't argue with. Fast forward to October 25th, and this is when the tour dates are announced for the Sweetener World Tour and the American Express pre-sale. So now you finally figured out whether or not you would be able to go to the venue that you potentially had bought pre-sale ticket access for. Again, it's important to keep in mind that these people that had bought all the merch items don't know exactly when their pre-sale is, but American Express knows that November 1st through the 3rd they get their pre-sale access. But if you bought merch, you know nothing. You will be emailed your ticket access code at a later date to be announced. So if we jump to when it's actually time to buy tickets, American Express knows for a fact that they're able to buy their tickets on November 1st, but the people that bought all the merch to get this early ticket access didn't actually get to have their pre-sale until November 2nd, a full day behind people that had these American Express cards. I just found it really interesting how people who had bought the merch were still put a full day behind these American Express card holders. Like, if anything, maybe the same day, or maybe that's not how things work because maybe American Express sponsored this tour, maybe they're sponsoring the venues. I honestly don't know, but I just kind of found it interesting how you were told that you were going to get early ticket access, and yet still there's a whole group of people who were able to buy tickets before you who didn't have to buy the merch. And yes, I do know that people that bought merch were technically still able to buy tickets a full 2 days before the tickets were released for the general public. Everything was fine and dandy, but then on January 4th, this is when Coachella announced their lineup, and obviously Ariana Grande is a headliner, which is an amazing opportunity for her to get to play at a festival for so many people. With the Coachella announcement, obviously a lot of dates had to be rearranged. Almost all of them were rescheduled except for two, which were Omaha, Nebraska, which would have been my venue, and then Raleigh, North Carolina. At first, I was very confused. My best friend called me this morning and was like, Ariana canceled the show, and I was like, what do you mean? We'd worked so hard to get tickets, but after digging a little bit deeper, I looked and I saw on the rescheduled shows that Denver and Salt Lake City, which would have been the two shows after Omaha, were rescheduled to a week in July. I looked at my venue's availability, and it is booked by private events and a convention, which is probably why Omaha couldn't be accommodated. Moving on from Omaha, when I looked at Raleigh, I was really confused because Chicago had been rescheduled for the Raleigh date. I understand that Chicago originally had two shows and that Chicago had to be rescheduled, but to me, it really doesn't make sense why Raleigh had to be canceled in order for that to happen. I know that North Carolina also already does have another show, but at the same time, Chicago gets to have 2 but North Carolina doesn't, and it just doesn't make sense to me. I also checked the dates. Like, I don't know, I don't feel like Raleigh really had any conflict, but I guess Chicago gets another show. Also, I'm not 100% sure of this. As I'm making this video, more stuff keeps coming out, so I'm trying to keep up. Apparently, Ariana Grande might be also headlining Lollapalooza, which is also in Chicago. So on top of getting 2 shows already for the Sweetener World Tour, they're going to get the Lollapalooza show as well. That, to me, is very questionable as to why Raleigh is kind of getting snubbed then with their Sweetener World Tour show. If you follow Ariana on Twitter, Instagram, anything like that, Ariana is very interactive with her fans. And so to me, I think what makes this situation so hard is that hearing about these cancellations and the rescheduling of concerts was coming from the news or the venue and not from Ariana or her team. And even in the period leading up to hearing about these cancellations, she's been promoting, maybe not her directly, maybe her team, but either way, her accounts have been promoting the 7 Rings music video and single that's coming out on Friday. Kind of hard to see the promotion of 7 Rings so consistent when something so drastic has happened to these tour dates. It's so confusing because it's like, what about all those people that just found out that either they're getting refunded and they're not going to be able to see you at another venue, the people that have bought tickets but can't go to the rescheduled shows, what about the fans that had meet and greets but can't go see you anymore because they can't go to another venue or it's sold out already? There's just so many factors. Also, what about the people that paid to make those travel arrangements to go see you and then they're not probably going to get refunded for that, are they? It's too much. I think what gets me the most, again, is the fact that Ariana, her team, her social media person, maybe it's just her, I have no idea, have just not addressed this, and fans are kind of hurt and disappointed, like, to say the least, and rightfully so. And it's interesting to see online how people whose shows aren't canceled or people who have already met Ariana are telling people whose shows that have been canceled that they shouldn't feel bad and we should be happy for Ariana and yada yada yada, which obviously we are. We're happy that she gets to play at Coachella and gets to perform for a ton of people. Again, it's an amazing opportunity, but also acknowledge the fact that people have spent money trying to get that ticket access that no longer means anything anymore, and they've read into the hype and the just everything that goes into this tour. And I don't know, I just feel like it's wrong that it hasn't been addressed earlier. I feel bad for people in North Carolina. I feel bad for Omaha. I feel bad for the people that can't go to the tour anymore. And I understand circumstances change. One final thing that I want to touch base on, as I was looking all this stuff up again, I realized that for international tour dates, there hasn't been a ton of releases, and I saw a couple of tweets. I mean, a lot of tweets asking for more tour dates. I don't necessarily know if she's going farther, and I also know people are going to say, well, Ariana wasn't even planning on touring this year, which, yeah, it's true. She's had a really rough past year if we put it into perspective, but at the same time, I think just a certain amount of decency is owed to the fans who support you and want to be a part of that experience that is the Sweetener World Tour. Just to recap on everything, the buying of merch for the merch presale was questionable. The fact that certain dates had to be canceled is sad, and I'm just kind of sad for the fans who no longer are going to be able to see the Sweetener World Tour at all. It is what it is. I'm just kind of sad that things have not been addressed in a timely manner, or that the announcement wasn't made from the team sooner. Hopefully something comes within the next day or so. We'll see. If you like this video, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. I make more uplifting things than this, I promise you. Comment below what your reaction is to the cancellation and the rescheduling of the shows. And I do want to say I am excited for the people that do get to go still to tour and get to be a part of that experience. That'll be really unique. With that being said, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Thank you, next.